Hi guys, welcome to the classroom. My name is Mr. Sneaks. Today we're going to be looking at gearing up for our first few raids and how to get ahead early on in your Escape from Tarkov experience. The first thing that you see pretty much when you load into Escape from Tarkov is you will die a lot. Good luck. There's no tutorial. There's no we're going to load into an offline raid and I'm going to show you how to WASD, do this, do that, do the other. It's drop you in the shit, get on with it, learn. You'll die, you'll get frustrated, you'll consider uninstalling the game, you'll stress out an awful lot, you'll panic. What I hope is that this short guide will give you some advice on how to load into that first raid, what gear to take, what things you should do. I also hope that this is going to help some casual players to get some tips and tricks on how to quest successfully without having to take every single fight and every single player that you see. Starting this game kind of later on into the wipe can be very, very difficult. It can be very rewarding, but it can be very difficult and very frustrating in an already frustrating and difficult game. So I'm hoping that the tips and tricks that I've learned from making horrific mistakes like my first ever wipe, loading into a nighttime factory raid with a pistol without a torch on, nearly literally dying IRL from a heart attack, and then basically sitting there and watching Twitch and learning how to play the game before I ever played it again will help you. Let's look into gearing up. The first thing I'd look at is armour. You get given packers as soon as you start the game in Tarkov. They are class 2, they don't stop an awful lot, but they do repair well, and at this state in the wipe, you will get them back on insurance. They will help you to stop small arms fire and fire from scavs a lot of the time. If you do need to buy more, they are available from about 28,000 rubles or a barter trade from Ragman. The bank robber chest rig is available for 10,000 rubles from Ragman, and it gives you 4 2-slot spaces which are going to allow you room to add magazines, meds, a bit of loot, etc, etc. Now, I appreciate that you do get given rigs in your starting loadout. However, I would definitely look at using those to store loot, quest items, bits and pieces that you know that you are going to need later on down the line in your wipe. You do also get given some face coverings, some hats and some helmets. Now, if you're not running a helmet, or if you are wearing a helmet, wear something that is going to cover the top of your head, like a hat, and some kind of face covering. This is going to obscure the outline of your face to players that are trying to snipe you or stop you from being seen so easily in bushes, because obviously your character model got a very bald, very beige head. It's going to stand out very easily in dark backgrounds and stuff like bushes, or at long distances if you're trying to run to extract and someone's sniping. Well worth wearing at all times. Lots of these items can be picked up off scavs and dead players. Contacts. So these earpieces give you better directional audio and a better quality of sound overall in the game. It's a general personal preference as to what ones you want to use. Some people like the GSSHs, some people like Contact 2, some people like Swordings. The cheapest item that you can buy is from Prapor level 1, and that is the GSSHs, and they are 13,000 rubles for a set. They are always worth wearing in game. Even if you are naked running with a pistol, wear some contacts. They will save your life. Now, my go-to starting weapon of choice. 22,000 rubles from Prapor is the SKS. There are a couple of other variants. You can get the OP SKS, which has got a dovetail mount, which will allow you to put a sight on it, but the iron sights on this are very, very clean. It's a semi-automatic rifle that fires 7.62 rounds, so it will take your PS ammo, your BP ammo, your MAIAP ammo, if you're lucky enough to find some of that in raid, and it will do you well throughout the game. If I'm honest, this gun is incredibly good and incredibly cheap. You find a lot of them on scavs, and you can find the PS rounds an awful lot on scavs as well. One thing to get for this item is the 20 round mag. It's a top loading gun and usually only has 10 rounds. The 20 round mag will allow you to load 20 rounds into the gun, obviously, and it's $75 from Peacekeeper. It's a lot of money, but well worth it. It's going to keep you in that fight a little bit longer. It's going to allow you a little more time to fight, back off, rotate, and you can just top load that ammunition into there. Best thing to do, I suggest, is buy about 60 rounds for a raid. Pop 20 into your SKS, and then you can pocket the rest. It's 95 rubles a round for your 7.62 PS. It's a very good budget ammo, does an awful lot of damage, well worth picking up. If you do have level 1 Jaeger already unlocked and you've done the Woods quest, then here are two options for an OP SKS available for Jaeger level 1, which will give you some sighting options such as long range or a CQB scope. We've got our armour, we've got a gun, now we need meds. There are far more in-depth videos that I will link below that will go through the differences of each of the healing items in this game. What I suggest is that you need 6 items. Something to heal hit points, something to stop light bleeds, something to stop heavy bleeds, something to fix breaks, something to stitch limbs back on, and something to take the pain away. Just as a side note, that isn't going to take away the pain of playing Tarkov, but it will take the pain away in game and allow you to get out of the fight, heal up, reload, and escape, or go again. I would carry these in your secure container. So, in my secure container, I've got something to heal hit points, something to fix bleeds, something to fix heavy bleeds, something to fix breaks, something to stitch limbs back on, and something to take the pain away. Or you can use these to pre-med if you're going into a hotspot area, or to get out of the fight, relocate, and then go back in again. Let's go into our first raid. I'm trying to find Jaeger's camp, and I'm going to talk through some of the things I did and some of the things I chose not to do in order to have a really, really successful second raid into the game. I spawn in between Sunken Village and Dead Man's Lake. I do a little bit of looting, and I start heading towards my quest item. Now, one thing I would suggest is make sure that you know where the hotspots are on your map and where you need to go and the path you are going to take for that quest item. Use your scav runs and use your offline PMC raids to do this. Again here, where I know that the village is on my left and there could be players in there, I'm taking my time to make sure that none of them are pushing up towards my position, so I can either engage them or I can back off and get out of their way. One of the key parts of this game is knowing where players can be coming from, knowing their potential paths, and using your audio so you don't get surprised by other players. I hear the Woods boss Sturman popping off with his SVD, and I know that I need to avoid the main hotspot of Lumber because he will be there. I am not geared up to take that fight, and I am definitely not getting involved in that. As I'm heading to Jaeger's camp, I'm being very careful that there aren't any other players in the vicinity, because this is going to be a hotspot and a highly contested area at the start of the raid and the start of the wipe. Lots of players try and do this quest first because Woods is quite a spacious map, and it's well worth hitting this first because there's enough room for you to rotate and get out without any hassle. As I push a little bit closer, I see a PMC running from my left. I hear him before I see him, and I make the decision to let him grab the quest item and leave before I then go and get the quest item. I'll give it a bit of time before pushing up to the objective, just to make sure that he isn't in a squad, and just to make sure that he hasn't, because it can be a bit of a pain in the arse to find some of these items. He's not struggling to find it. So I'll give him a bit of time to pass. I stay well back, I stay behind cover, and I stay as quiet as possible. What I could have done here is I could have taken that fight. That PMC had no idea that I was there, but I chose not to. Remember, you don't have to take all the fights that you see. You can back off, you can rotate away, and use that to your advantage. I could also potentially have popped a painkiller here. If he had seen me and taken a shot at me, that would have meant that if I'd have taken any damage, I could have backed right off and let him get away. I then take a wide route out of the map, avoiding the hotspots, avoiding Lumber, trying to go through a path that not many players will be heading towards, and I get out and I survive the raid. Do you think there's a cover there? We've looked at gearing up for a raid, a cheap, good kit that's going to hopefully keep you alive and at least do some damage if you do run into players. Secondly, in raid, Hearthing. Hearthing is vital to surviving in this game. If you are not looking for fighting players, you don't need to fight players. If you see squads, get out of their way. If you've got a quest item on you, you don't need them. Thirdly, awareness. I hope that you noticed that in the clip that I showed you, I took my time. I didn't run straight for quest item. I took my time. I paused a lot. I was listening to my surroundings. You want to know any potential pathing that players are going to take. You're going to want to be aware of them before they are aware of you. You do not have to sprint everywhere in this game to get to that item. Take your time. Even if you get to that item with 10 minutes left in the raid, that's fine. The idea and the main aim of this is surviving these raids and making sure that you can get out with those quest items that will allow you to progress in this game. Lastly, use your scav runs. They are a wonderful, wonderful tool to learn where the hotspots are. Go for a wander around those maps. You might find some great loot on some dead PMCs, but more importantly, you're going to find those dead PMCs and go, right, I don't want to go there straight away. It's too dangerous. I need to take my time getting to that area, or if I've got an item, I need to ignore it. Listen out for where the gunshots are. It's a brilliant, brilliant tool to help you survive, especially if you don't want to get into those fights. If you're low on money, you've got quest items, you've got high tier loot on you, you don't need to go near those shots. Another bit of advice, if you can, if you've got a second monitor, or even if you've got a phone, have a map up. I'll leave a link below to Map Genie. It's got all of the maps that you need. It shows where your extracts are, your spawn points are, any hotspots are worth learning. If you need to know where your items are, do an offline raid. Go and find it. There are some wonderful guides available on YouTube that will tell you exactly where you need to go to find those items. Do it a few times before you do it in game. So I hope that you found this guide useful. I stream 3 days a week on Twitch. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. I'd love to see you in chat. If you enjoy this content, come say hello. I'd really appreciate it if you popped in. Tell me what you thought of the videos. If you enjoyed the content, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. It would mean a lot to me if you told me if you found this useful at all. Any other questions you've got, sling them in the comments. I can get back to you as soon as I can and, you know, give you a hand. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next video. I hope you found this useful. It'd be lovely to meet you in chat. Peace.